me to be. It is this David then that's fighting Saul's. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another session of Bible Chat with Dr. Yvette. I was surprised to find, I knew there would be lots of Bible study channels on YouTube, but I did not know there were so many Bible chats. I apologize if I'm hard to find, but I was surprised to find so many. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. At some point I will provide you some information on how to reach me outside of here, so that if it's something pertinent, if it's something pressing, and you need a response, you have a different way to contact me to get that response or answer to your question. So I believe we are starting at chapter 20. And then we're going to go through to chapter 24. Yes. All right, so let's jump right into it because, yeah, I just got a message from my baby girl, and I need to get to her, but I need to do this. So chapter 20 of the book of Genesis. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man. For the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, She is my sister? And she herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. I'm the reason that you weren't able to sin against me. That's the reason she hasn't been touched. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet. Abraham is a prophet. And he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us, and what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that thou ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister, she's the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleaseth thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. I'm sorry. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes, unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. 17. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. 18. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. See, God had a plan. He had a plan for the future generations from Abraham. And Abraham was making decisions that were getting in the way of God's plans. So, we're back on track now. Chapter 21. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. He visited her as he said he would. And he did unto her as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah had bare to him, Isaac. So you see all the details in there. Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. Number 4, and Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him, 100 years old. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah would have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age, and here I am nursing this baby with these breasts of mine. 8. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. So you got the Egyptian woman Hagar, who had Abraham's son. You got the son of Hagar, Abraham's boy, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, so because of that, she went to Abraham and said, cast out this bondwoman and her son. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. It really struck him hard. It hit him hard. Verse 12, and God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. He said, don't fret about what your wife asked you to do. It's done. It's a wrap. Because the promise I made you, everything that I told you you're going to see, numbering greater than the sands of the sea, numbering greater than the stars in the sky, that's going to come through Isaac. Verse 13, and also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation. I'm still going to do something for him because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle. There was no more water. And she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bowshot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. I can't bear to watch. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven. God heard the voice of the lad. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. He's a promise keeper, y'all. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. It was there. He opened her eyes so she could see. There's this well of water here. You thought the bottle of water was all you had. And she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. Verse 20. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. 23. Now therefore swear unto me here by God, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who hath done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, Abraham. I didn't know this was going on. 27. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. They made an agreement. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. 33. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. 34. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. Chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham. Remember, we talked about the word tempt. Make a note. It says here that God tempted Abraham. Later on in the New Testament, in the New Testament, we're going to see another statement about God tempting people. All right. And he said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. Verse 2, and he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Verse 3, and Abraham rose up early in the morning. Are we missing something? Was there dialogue? Did Abraham say, wait a minute. But wait, did I hear you right? That must be the devil. He didn't do any of that. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here. You stay here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship. And come again to you. We're going to go up here and worship. You stay right here, and we'll be back. That's what he said. We're going to go up and we'll come again to you. We're going to go up there and we will be back. That's what he said. And what we're going to do when we go is we're going to worship. Whew. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went, both of them, together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them, together. Sometimes it's what we say. Sometimes it's what we say. Sometimes it's what we say. We know what God told him, but that's not what he repeated. Excuse me. Verse 9, and they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. If you're going to withhold anything, keep anything to yourself, it would have been your son. Now I know you fear me, and you won't withhold anything from me. 13, and Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram, caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh. Jehovah Jireh. As it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. Pastor Rod Parsley is the first person I ever heard say that Jehovah Jireh means my provision shall be seen. Jehovah Jireh is my provider, the Lord my provider. Okay, the Lord my provider, my provision shall be seen. Here it says, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. Woo! Doesn't just make you want to go, woo! All right, 15. And the angel of the Lord called upon Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, by myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son. He stressed it because he understood the importance. That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Now we've seen some people in past verses and past chapters that were not obedient, that were not his, that were not willing to obey him, do what he said, sacrifice all without question. So that's why Abraham is his chosen one, and his seed is his chosen one. So everything that you read from that point on, from this point on, from Abraham moving forward, when you see that that line is connected to Abraham, it begins to make sense. All right, so that's why we're starting at the beginning, so that you can see the connection, the line, the generations, the genealogy. Okay. 18, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Huz, his firstborn, and Buz, his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Zidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Ruma. She bare also Teba and Gaham, and Thahash and Machan. And then we move on to chapter 23. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kirjath Arba. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my Lord, thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres, sepulcher. In the choice of our sepulchres, bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it to me, for possession of a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my Lord, no, my Lord. Hear me, the field give I thee, and the cave that is therein, I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spoke unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My Lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between you and me? Bury therefore your dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure. Unto Abraham, verse 18, unto Abraham for possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. 20. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for possession of a burying place for the sons of Heth. Chapter 24. And Abraham was old, and well stricken in age. And the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And the servant said unto him, Peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. What if she doesn't want to follow me? When I go to your people and I try to get a wife for your son Isaac, what happens if she refuses to come? Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, Beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. You can't take him there. the Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee. You're not taking Isaac. He's already told me to leave that land. I've left that land. You're not taking Isaac back. Instead, God will send his angel before you. And thou shalt take a wife unto my son from there. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then you shall be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. He said, if she refuses to come, you're free and clear. You did what I asked you to do. You tried. I'm not going to hold it against you. Verse 9. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I pray thee. Now he's talking to the Lord. Send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass, Lord, that the damsel to whom I shall say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee that I may drink. And she shall say, Drink. And I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she